We'd just like to welcome everyone. I just thought it would be to say things before I outplay, as Father Burgess did. Tottington has a connection with Woodbury that goes back 350 years. So it's a very historic thing. And we've had visitors from Woodbury, and we've taken people to America in the past. And in our church, we've got the Woodbury window. Also, we have a connection through Woodbury to Mirfield. And you'll know Brother Stephen Hawes, who preaches from time to time over at Christ Church. And we go up to Mirfield from St Anne, Tottington. So there are lots of links that we have, which go back a long time. And I'm really pleased that we're doing this today. I just wondered, though, if we could start with a little prayer from a book which we also share, because I know Christ Church Woodbury is a very traditional church like we are. So whether we're in America, to give the most humble and loving kindness to us and to all men. We bless thee for our creation, preservation, and all the blessings of this life, but above all for thine inestimable love, the redemption of the world by our Lord Jesus Christ, the means of grace, and for the hope of glory. And we beseech thee,
Oh.
righteousness all our days, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
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 So I'm going to get out the way and let you lot get on. It's good to see you, and I'll let your superintendent assist you with the questions. Don't be shy. We're very friendly in Tottington, and it's great seeing you. So this is the first attempt. This is going to be one of many, I'm sure, in the months and years to come. But this is fantastic. So over to our young people from Tottington.
Thank you. Hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Cindy Scales. I'm the superintendent of Sunday school here at Christ Church, as I'm with 6 of our amazing students. Sunday school for us at our church looks a little different this year. We don't have in-person classes starting, but the teachers are still reaching out to the students, and we have some fun things planned for the school year. So today is our first event and kind of our kickoff, and we are super excited to hear from England and learn more about St. Anne's. So welcome, and thanks for joining us. And we have one more. Oh.
Hi, good morning. My name is Sarah. I am Chair of Stewardship at Christ Church. I just want to thank you guys that are here. Thanks for being here. And those that are watching YouTube, thanks for tuning in. As Chair of Stewardship, it's been a very interesting, challenging year to say the least, but I think together we can move forward boldly. This is what we do as a parish. Just wanted to remind you there are pledge cards available on the tables, also at the usher station. We do invite you to commit and fill out a pledge card. Also remind you that electronic giving is available. As always, I am available for any questions or if you want to call into the church office. Thank you.
And again, Tottington, welcome to Woodbury, New Jersey. A little bit of background, primarily for those who may be tuning in on YouTube. Possibly the students in Bury, England are aware of this, but our relationship goes back with Tottington, England to 1683, when Mr. Wood from Bury, England came up what is now Woodbury Creek. At the time, in 1683, it was a navigable waterway, and his tall ship came from England, came up the Delaware River, and turned right onto Woodbury Creek. William Penn, the famous Quaker from Pennsylvania, was the one that gave him the land grant on this side of the river. Interesting enough, Mr. Wood never lived in Woodbury, but he profited from the land grant on this side. Woodbury is about 10,000 people. We have one high school, we have one junior high school, and we have 3 elementary schools. Woodbury is also the county seat. The county courthouse is right behind me next to the church. And also we are the seat of Gloucester County, which is 292,000 people. Again, we welcome you. And at this time, we're going to turn it over to our students who have questions for you and you for them.
All right, Josephine, do you want to start off with your question?
Do you guys have a Sunday school? Do you guys have a choir program? And if so, what does it look like?
Yeah, we have a choir. We have adults in the choir who've been singing for obviously longer than us. And then we've got me and Matilda, the younger people, if you like, the kids in the choir. And we are the Hope Choral Scholars. So we got given some money towards vocal lessons and we hope to go on for a lot longer in the choir.
Can you explain Hope Scholars? What are Hope Scholars?
So I'll ask a question now. So Christmas isn't too far away.
What is for
Christmas.
Right, I'll ask a question. I'm presently in my last year in high school, and I've taken options in what I take for my GCSEs. So I've had a choice in what I get qualifications in. I was just wondering whether you have the choice and what you're able to take for your qualifications as well.
Yes, we can choose what we want to do once you get into junior or senior year, if you guys have that. It'll help you get into college and get scholarships. So it's a little bit more free than say sophomore and freshman year when they're trying to help you out. But yeah, we have basically the same thing. Okay. Question. What is your favorite holiday or church season and why?
My favorite season is Easter because it's a good way of spreading cheer, and we give thanks to God for bringing Jesus again. And we like the chocolate as well. What's your favorite season in church?
Anybody want to say?
I like Christmas from celebrating Jesus, when he was born.
Anybody else want to share their favorite holiday?
I think mine is also Christmas because we do a lot in the church, and it's usually a long mass, so there's a lot of things to do. It's fun, so yeah.
I like Christmas because in church we get to, so we have a setup.
Service is coming up soon, so we just wanted to know, we do a lot of different services in the church at Christmas. We do things.
So we have a thing where it's Jesus at the baby and God and Mary, and a few of the kids get to put some of the animals in the set. And I like it because we always have fun traditions in the church at Christmas time.
Are they frozen?
I think there's
Oh, yeah, they're frozen. Yeah, they're frozen. Could you hear us okay?
I can hear you okay. I'm not too sure about them though.
Okay. Any other?
We have something that we do in the church every year, and we do a Christingle service. So the Sunday school come together and they put on like a nativity. So they it like differs every year. So one year we'll have like every year there's a different one basically, and then during a church service coming up to Christmas, we have a Christingle service where the Sunday school put on the performance, and then everybody gets a Christingle, which is like an orange with a candle in, and then we light it, and then we then like all say we turn the lights off, and then everybody has the candles on, and then we say prayers.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do something similar to that too. I don't remember exactly what it is, but I know we do something similar.
We have, I'm going to let the children explain this, but we have stolen a few traditions from England, of course. One is lessons and carols, and we make sure that we invite the entire community on the Friday night of 3 Advent to come be at Christ Church and join our choristers and our choir in lessons and carols. And as you can tell from their bios, some of those students in front of you have been selected as St. Nicholas Child Bishops. And again, that's strictly from the English tradition of the cathedral choir schools. So those of you who were child bishops, if you would share with them your experience and how that was done.
I'll go first. So to get to like child bishop, you write like an essay about like some of the things that you've been through, or like what you want to do, or what helps people, and just like to be like a nice person. And then like if you have like a really good essay, then you'll get picked. And then Father takes you through like the process of how to do it and like what you're doing. Like you wear a mitre, and you hold the crozier, and you basically just guide the service, which is fun because usually Father does it. So it's like a little weird when you do it, but he helps you out. So, and you go up to you speak up for the sermon, the pulpit. You read your essay out loud, just like the sermon, but you just read your essay. And then you just basically lead the rest of the service. And then afterward, there's like a celebration for you being child bishop, and your picture is on the wall, and it gets like put into a magazine. So it's like really fun. It happens, I believe, every year.
On the Feast of St. Nicholas.
Yeah, at the Feast of St. Nicholas. And I was one a couple years ago, and I don't remember a recent one, but yeah.
Yeah. Christopher, you want to ask your question then?
Is St. Anne's involved in mission work, and what kind of mission work have the children been involved in? Where is St. Anne's? Is St. Anne's involved in mission work, and what kind of mission work have the children been making?
We don't really do mission work. At harvest, we collect tin foods and things like that to give to a charity which needs it, to give to the homeless. We collect for the Red Door, which is a homeless charity now.
We also do the same at Christmas. where we collect presents. So like everybody will bring a present in, and that happens on the same day as the Christingle service. And you give them and then they're all collected and then given to the children in need.
Very nice. Does anybody want to share the mission work that we've done or that you've done?
Here, we try to go as often as possible, usually every year, every other year, to a small town in Virginia, which is south of us. It's called Dane, and we go there and through another organization, Grace House on the Mountain, we help do different work in the town, and we usually bring something with us. One year we brought prom dresses. This past year we brought books, and we usually give them out to the people of the town.
A question that I have is, many of our schools separate religion and state and therefore do not allow religious expression. Do those of you who go to CFE schools get to practice your faith at school or have religious classes?
I go to a CAB school and we have religious studies a few times a week, and we learn about God. So sometimes we learn about Judaism, and we learn about the other religions as well as Christianity. And with communions as well. And so we all go into the hall, like the school hall, and then we have communion together.
I also go to a religious school, but it doesn't. We celebrate Christian holidays, yet we also we don't just take in those of the Christian religion. So we have multiple religions at our school, but to get into our school, you have to go to church. So like we have to fill a form out and give in evidence that we do go to church before you can sign up for going. And due to me going to a religious school, I have to take religious studies as a GCSE to get. So at the end of high school, I will have to sit a test in religious studies, which I don't have a choice in. But we also do communion, and we do prayers in class every day.
I have a question about food that they might ask. Was it you, Christopher? No, was it Colin? Colin, do you want to ask them what their favorite food is?
I have a question. What is your favorite food? Like, what's most popular in England?
Favorite food is, well, my favorite dinner would be a roast dinner, because I like all the crunches in it, and especially the Yorkshire puddings. And in your roast dinner, do you have Yorkshire puddings?
I have a question. What is the favorite thing about your parish?
So for me, the favourite thing is the fact that we're almost like a community together. Everybody knows everyone, and we'll have a talk. You can talk to anybody. Everyone's really friendly and outgoing.
Is that a question? Where are you going?
I got the same one.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, but I already know my question.
I think I heard Renee say earlier that you have a Sunday school program. So like, what is that like? Is it? I mean, what is it like?
So in Sunday school, we it's for an hour while the main church service is happening. And we learn different stories about Jesus and God. So sometimes we learn about Jesus' miracles, and then we do some colouring and sometimes sing as well. And we do some games to do with the story.
In our Sunday school as well, we have like an older Sunday school and a younger one, so it all takes place in the same time, but it just happens in different rooms. So the older pupils go with like a different teacher, and they do like older activities, which would be like playing games or just a discussion on the topic. Whereas with the younger ones, they'd be like learning the story and then doing like colouring and games and stuff.
Like ours, right? Yeah, just like ours. Sure, yeah.
Do you guys go to school or are you virtual?
We do go to school. We go to school and our classrooms are separate. So in my school, we have year 1 and reception together. We have year 2 together. And we have year 3 and year 4 together. And year 5 and year 6 together.
I think it's different for every school currently, because with me, we've got like regulations in place and stuff. However, somebody from my year has just tested positive for COVID, so the whole of our year has been shut down like last week. So I've then had to be off for 2 weeks. So last week and this week coming, all my lessons are virtual. So I've got like Zoom classes with teachers, so that my learning, I'm still attending all the classes, but virtually, not in school.
How many people are virtual here? I'm virtual. Yeah, well, I think most of us are virtual.
All of us.
Yeah.
So you're in a hybrid model.
Do you guys go to school year round, or do you have a break in the summer?
We have a break of 2 weeks, roughly at Christmas, and then again at Easter. And then we have quite a long 6 week break in the summer when, we go on holiday usually.
Yeah, that's a little different than I think. Like, I mean, I'm not sure because we don't all go to the same school here, but at least we usually have like a long summer break from probably about like June to maybe like June to like it's like early September. Then school starts up, so we have like what? 10 weeks. Early September, like August. Yeah, like early September when school starts up, and then we have a summer break, and we do have some time off at Christmas and then Easter too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have any favorite hobbies you like to do?
I like drama, which is where we do some singing, dancing, and play some fun games as well. And sometimes we even do pantomimes.
I like going out for bike rides. And I also like playing the piano as well. And I like trains as well.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for us?
Do you get palm crosses before Easter?
Yeah.
We do.
Sessions.
Okay, I already got that. You're
So here at St Anne's, we have a scout group in 3 different sections. So we have the Beavers, the Cubs, and the Scouts. Lewis is a scout, but not at this group. So we wanted to know in Scouts over there, what do you do in your Scouts over in America?
So I think it's a little bit different. So we have Cub Scouts and then we have Boy Scouts. There's 4 ranks in Cub Scouts. I think we call them the Tigers, Lions, Bears, and the Weelos. And then we have and then we have Boy Scouts. So we do a lot of community service. I actually just got back from camping this morning. Big tent camping over this weekend.
Yeah. Like I don't because I used to be in Boy Scouts, but I stopped because I just like I don't really know why I stopped. I just like I liked it and all, but there was just a lot of other stuff that I was doing, and I just didn't have much time. And you know, especially when I started doing like other stuff, it just got clunky. But I used to do sort of similar stuff with like community service and camping, and then we even go like camping for like.
Yeah. So do all your leaders in your scout groups have almost nicknames that they're called for the Scouts weird names? Because ours do.
No. In my troop, at least, we don't have nicknames for our scout leaders.
All our scout leaders are named after characters from the Jungle Book. Things like that.
I'm also part of the Girl Guides, and every 3 years? Every 3 years we go on an international holiday. The first one that I did, we went to Slovakia and Krakow in Poland. And we were away for 10 days, I think we were away for. And the most recent one I did, we went to Prague, which was where lots and lots of guys from like all over the world met up in Prague, and it was like a huge international thing. Do you have like similar things of where you have international holidays as well?
Not in Boy Scouts.
Well, I guess you could say maybe in school, because like in like senior year or in college for senior year, you might go to Disney for like a trip, or in college if you take like a certain class, you could go to like France like study, or like Greece somewhere. So
And then there's the foreign exchange students.
oh yeah, and the foreign exchange students too go abroad.
Is it true that you've got a piece of the moon in your church window?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is it?
It's like where our organ is. There's a window behind the organ, and there's like a little crescent with a little rock in the middle.
Who gave it to you and why?
Astronaut Edgar Mitchell,
Astronaut Edgar Mitchell,
who walked on the moon.
Why did he give it to us? I think as a gift, as a friend, I believe.
Yes, astronaut Edgar Mitchell was dear friends of the 11th rector of this parish. And their friendship goes way back and continued all the way to Edgar Mitchell's death. And astronaut Edgar Mitchell actually spent a number of times in the rectory as a guest. And upon the 11th rector's retirement, he gifted the parish a moon rock in order to put into a window that commemorates that rectorship. And so that's one of the things that this parish is known for, and that we are proud of. And it does also hold up that rectors stay here a long time. in 167 years, I'm only the 13th rector. So there's usually long tenures here at Christ Church because of the spiritual nature of this place. It's a very special place.
Now, I actually have a question for you. Because the Church of England is the mother church of the worldwide Anglican community, are you aware that the rest of the world looks to you for the example by which we are to live by, and how do you handle that?
I really think I should come in there. If we are the example to follow, that's a bit of a big ask. I think very often in England, this is an amazing fact. In the Church of England, the average attendance in a Church of England church on a Sunday is 23. 23 people. So actually, it's a funny sort of situation because we're the national church and we serve the whole people of England, but the attendance in most churches is really low. In Tottington, it's quite high, and much higher than that. But insofar as following our lead, I'm not quite sure about that. I think we find it hard enough following our own bishops, let alone having other people follow us. Who asked that question, by the way? You. So, you with the mask. So can you repeat the question, please?
I said that because you are, the world looks to you to lead the Anglican community. How do you handle that? How do you handle that?
I think the way we handle it is actually to have the humility to learn from others rather than thinking that we actually set the standard. Because there are wonderful people in America or in Africa, the Anglican Church in India, the Anglican Church all around the world. Say, for example, in Iraq, where there's all sorts of problems over there, in Syria, the Anglican Church. There are other churches abroad that we should learn more from and not assume that we've got something to tell people in the third world all the time. We have an awful lot to learn from other people. And just because we're historically the mother church doesn't make us any better, any worse, any more, or any more devout than any other wing of the Anglican Church throughout the world. But that's a really very, very good question, which I'm pleased to answer on behalf of my Sunday school and young people.
Father, may I add to her question? And since you're on the screen, when we look to England, we see history, we see cathedrals, and we see castles, and we see the Abbey, and we see a number of other things that go back centuries and centuries. Do the students here with us today from Tottington have a sense of that history?
Well, it depends who you ask. Kimberly, that's Kimberly over there. Matilda was born in Australia, so she's obviously got a very different view on these things. Were you born in Australia? I thought you were. The others, it just depends. I think, we've got some really fantastic buildings, but what's really important, Father Burgess, as I'm sure you agree, is actually fostering Christian communities where you are, who are faithful and who connect what they believe with what they do and what they say. And I think sometimes our lovely buildings, wonderful though they are, they can be a bit of an albatross, and they can be a burden in all sorts of ways. But I mean, Harry, you would say, what's your view, Harry, on that question? You know.
I think we know about all the old buildings and the monasteries and things, but we don't really look too much into them. We all know about them, but we don't look too much into them in great depth.
I think the issue there, Father, is actually how, people belong to St Anne Tottington, and that's where their Christian lives. I think I baptized all of these. Did I? I baptized most of you, have I? And confirmed you all. So it's where your spiritual family is where you live. And I think as I say, our great buildings are wonderful, and they're important holy places. And I was at Walsingham quite recently, only last week, which is extraordinary, the Shrine of Our Lady of Walsingham. And it's a focus of pilgrimage, but you know, not everyone goes there. And we in Tottington try and nurture people's Christian faith from being baptized and throughout their lives. And I think Harry's point's a really important one, that actually, whilst they're aware of them, you know, and it doesn't impinge upon the way in which people's Christian faith develops and grows. But I know that my Matilda, sorry Matilda, Matilda has a very important question for Father Burgess.
Does Father Burgess pray for our Queen on a Sunday?
If not, why not?
Say it again.
Does Father Burgess pray for our Queen on Sunday?
That's a wonderful question, because my next question was going to be about your Queen. We have an affinity for the history that we share. Oftentimes, Matilda, I will bring in sermon images in my sermon about the royal family, especially on Christ the King Sunday or on other such days. And we have a deep respect and appreciation, but our prayer book asks that we pray for the President of the United States and all in authority. So I guess in a way, by extension, we do pray for your Queen, but we pray for the President of the United States and all in authority. So if that answers your question, Matilda, I would like to ask you a question, and then I'll step out of the screen. When we watch television and we watch the royal family, we see them go to church for such pretty big occasions, for weddings and christenings and of the such, and sometimes sadly burials. Matilda, do you get a sense that Queen Elizabeth goes to church regularly?
I think she might do.
Maybe I could just step in there for a couple of reasons. Our sovereign, if she was a Roman Catholic, she would probably be canonized after she died. She's a woman of immense Christian faith, who says her prayers daily, who attends church regularly. She has a candle lit every day at the Shrine of Our Lady of Walsingham. And anyway, I have a number of connections there. But her spiritual life, her Christian life, is exemplary beyond question. And what she has had to endure over her long reign is quite remarkable. But the sincerity and the deep-seated commitment, which was born, would you believe, at her baptism, but a guy who influenced her very, very much was a guy called Billy Graham, would you believe, who used to, in the 1950s and 60s, would actually attend and visit the Queen at Buckingham Palace. But she has a profoundly sincere faith, which is not seen, and as it shouldn't be. It's a very private matter. But she is a tremendous example to all of us of how to combine a spiritual life as well as being the head of state. And when she was crowned, the most important part of the ceremony wasn't the soldiers, wasn't the crown, wasn't the Royal Air Force. It was when her hands and her head and her heart were anointed with holy oils. And the Queen understands very clearly that her role is a Christian role, is not political. And the most important thing for her was what was called the secret ceremony, because no one saw it, when she was anointed on her hands and on her head and on her heart, because her role as sovereign is a priestly role, and she takes that massively, massively seriously. And I think I can probably speak with some authority on that matter. But that's something which I guess you guys in Woodbury would, outside of the razzmatazz that you get of personalities within the royal family, the Queen has an extraordinary, committed Christian faith. I know that, sorry, Father, I know that Lewis has a question about wrestling. So I just wonder whether Lewis could just get this question on wrestling. Excuse me.
What sort of wrestling does Colin do? Because my brother's a big WWE fan.
Colin, do you wrestle?
Yes, I wrestle. Been wrestling for about 7 years. So I'm pretty advanced at it. I've won about 2 medals. I think
Favorite move?
2 second places. I won a lot of trophies from wrestling.
So staying on the subject of sport, I was just wondering, is there we don't get much of the American sport over here. How much of the British sports do you get over there?
How much is the British sports? What kind of British sports do we get? Soccer?
Soccer, rugby,
Soccer and cricket?
I guess. Yeah.
We don't have too much. We don't have too much, but we definitely have a few like soccer, cricket, rugby. Yeah, not too much, but.
I'll follow up on that one. If you go to what we call football or you call soccer, what's your favourite football or soccer team if you follow that?
I don't think I have one because in New Jersey we don't really have a main team. It's more the states around us. But my favorite American football team would probably have to be the Eagles because they're closest to us. My favorite soccer team or football team, I'm not sure.
How about their favorite soccer team?
What's your favorite soccer team or football team?
Liverpool. I don't know if any of you know Liverpool, but Liverpool Football Club.
Yeah, I like Manchester City.
Any other questions? Are we all good? Oh, go ahead, Josephine.
As things have changed with the coronavirus, how have your lives been impacted by that spiritually and with school and with sports and stuff, everyday activities?
My school, it has had a big impact because we're having to stay in classrooms in our own bubbles, and these things too have to have bring packed lunches every day, and they have to eat it in their packed lunches whilst key stage 1 and
I think it was also when the whole of the country was put into lockdown, we weren't allowed to like leave the house or see like family, and it was a mental struggle for quite a lot of people, because you had to spend a lot of time with your family, so you had to get on. But when it's impacted my school life as well, because I sit my GCSEs this year, so I've missed out on like 6 months of work, which I've done, but I wasn't in school to do it. So it means that I've missed out on like quite a lot of learning. So I'm now having to like catch up so that I can be ready for my GCSEs to sit next year.
Staying on the subject of school,
Okay. So like, I know sometimes I know if you're in school, what kind of, I guess, like in school, or if you're doing virtual school, like what does your like school day look like, whether it's like virtual or in person?
so we start school at about 9 o'clock or 8:45 when we go into a form, like which is our class, and we say some prayers and just talk to each other, and then we start at 9, and then we have 6 hours of 5 hours of lessons, and then we have a 15-minute break after 2 lessons, and a half an hour break for lunch, and then we finish school at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
So we were just wondering, what's a child bishop?
A child bishop. So you get elected every year to write an essay, and if you get picked because it was a good essay, then you get like a robe, a mitre, and a crozier, and you have to lead the congregation. So basically, what Father Burgess does, but the child gets to do. So we usually get to do that for a day, and we like the sermon. We read our essay, like what we wrote. So that's basically what we do. We just lead the congregation, but except it's a kid doing it.
Do you only have that role for one day, or then do you have like any more roles to fulfill like further on?
Just one day.
Yeah, technically you're the child bishop for the whole, I think it's like the rest of the year until the next one is elected.
Yeah.
Come with the plaque.
Oh yeah, there's a plaque downstairs which shows every child bishop that has been. What year was I? I don't remember what year I was, but it was a couple years.
It was like 5 or 6.
Yeah. It was fun. It was definitely a little bit scary because you had to lead it, and I was like, I didn't want to lead it the wrong way, so yeah.
I remember the year that I did it. You were after me. Yeah, it was the year after him. And I remember I was starting to overheat, and when I was reading the prayers of the people, I think I read the same line 3 times.
Have young people in your choir, or is it just adults?
We have a choristers, and then we have the choir, but we do a lot of things together too. I mean, obviously right now we haven't been doing a lot of stuff, but normally we do a lot of that stuff. But so we would have usually after church and then after Sunday school, we'd have like some chorister rehearsals, and I don't know when the choir would do theirs, but then we would sometimes sing some of our hymns or something that we've been learning in the practices.
I've got another question about the choir, if you like. We do quite a bit of singing hymns over here. I just wondered if any of you have a favourite hymn or.
That's really. Yeah, I know I played one of them today, but it was I don't know if it's sang it.
It's every time a child gets baptized. I don't know what it's called, but we.
Font of every blessing.
Yeah. And we sing it every single time a child gets baptized. Like every time, it's really nice.
Acapella.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
There's one I like. I think they were playing on the organal. I forget what it's called. Something about mortal flesh or something.
Let all mortal flesh be silent.
That's the one I like.
Does your whole church try to have like a huge thing every year, like a huge picnic or anything like that?
So every year in about we've got a big kind of like a festival in the cricket ground. People set up stalls, and we have a barbecue, and then we can go there. It's up for a full day, and then it's like hook a duck and bouncy castles, and they've also got charities there as well. And then we raise money for the church and charities as well.
So, once at our church, an altar boy set fire to our vicar. Has anyone ever done that to Father Burgess or anything at your church?
What did he say?
Has anybody ever set fire to you during Mass by accident?
No.
Not for lack of being afraid of it.
Yeah.
We do have, though, underneath our church, in the undercroft, directly below the altar, Some of the beams that hold up the floor from 1856 have been singed. You can go down there and see that the church did catch on fire at one time when the coal stove either was overfilled or spilled out, and it set the church on fire underneath. The story goes that the women of the Altar Guild were able to save some of the furnishings, like the bishop's chair and some other things, which we still use today.
I think the Bible on the altar as well.
I believe, yes, there's a Bible, etc. But the church was spared, and you can see evidence of it in the Undercroft. And if you guys come see us one day, we would love to give you the family tour. All right, we'll give you the family tour of our parish. Father Byrne.
On that, Father Burgess, one of the famous things that happened to Tottington, we were hit by a bomb on Christmas Eve 1944, a flying bomb that flew between the parish hall and the church, and it landed in some houses opposite our church, and every single window was blown out of the building. And on Christmas Day, the parish priest celebrated Holy Communion, facing east with no roof, no windows. The only window to survive was the great east window, which has Jesus on the cross. That was a really big event. And if you go onto Google and put that into the Google engine, you'll be able to find all the information about that. And we also, Robert Peel, who founded the police force, he came to St Anne Tottington. And also, this will mean nothing to you young children, but Father Burgess will know that the original Von Trapp children from The Sound of Music, their mother was born in Tottington, and church has a standing invitation to sing in Salzburg every year. So maybe we can hook up with Woodbury Choir and go and sing in Salzburg, which would be tremendous. But there's a lot of history in this church, and we're actually older than Bury, but certainly the bomb and the Von Trapp story and Robert Peel is very well known, and also a guy called William Wilberforce, who was the man who led the abolition of slavery in Britain in the Empire in 1834, I think. He was the guy that sent the very first vicar of Tottington to this place, and he's commemorated as one of the great abolitionists in Tottington. So there's a lot of history here, which we hope that you people will come across and share. We've had many visitors from Woodbury and the famous Woodbury windows at the East End, and we've got lots of friends and many happy memories. I took my own son when he was only 2 years old to Woodbury, and we took him to a baseball match and did all sorts of wonderful things. And there's a lot of archive about our connections from the end of 2000, 1999, 2000, 2001. So lots of many happy memories, which I hope Father Burgess and all of you in Woodbury would want to build upon, as we clearly do here. And the situation we find ourselves in with COVID has provided an opportunity which otherwise, I'm sure, would never have happened. And that has to be a real blessing in a really strange kind of way. So anyway, there we go. Father Burgess, I think we're running out of time now. I just wondered whether you, unless anyone's got any more questions, Father, whether you'd like to finish with a prayer, and then we can all wave and say nice things across the pond, etc., etc. And I hope this is the first of many of these of Zoom meetings and actually face-to-face meetings. I know you're intending to come to England in 2021, and I hope we can meet up either in London or in Manchester or over at Murfield. So over to you, our American cousins.
Thank you, and please share with Brother Stephen that we would send our best. As you know, Brother Stephen is here usually the first Sunday of Advent. I'm sure those plans are going to be altered this year, but he is as much a part of our parish as I believe he is of your parish. And with that, Father, I know that it's after 5:30 your time, which means that those in Tottington are getting ready for the evening office. So I would like to offer a prayer for mission from the prayer book that we use during the evening office. Let us pray. Keep watch, dear Lord, with those who work or watch or weep this night, and give thine angels charge over those who sleep. Tend the sick, Lord Christ. Give rest to the weary. Bless the dying. soothe the suffering, pity the afflicted, shield the joyous, and all for thy love's sake. Amen.
Amen.
God bless.
Okay, cheers, guys. You got to go now. So we'll meet again. We get something else sorted out. Good to see you, Tilly. Is that your mother's hand? I think it
Yes.
was. Listen, it's great to have spent some time with you guys. Have a great week, and we'll be in touch for another Zoom meeting. And the more we do them, the more polished they'll become. But it's great to see you all and to share this time together from Woodbury and Tottington. God bless. Have a great weekend. A week rather. Ciao.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.